everybody, Carol from Practical Mystic. Thanks for joining me today. As you can see, this is going to be a different video than what I usually have on my channel, but it is still honoring this full moon in Taurus that we are all going to be experiencing April 27th. And it's an intense moon, and Scorpio is all about death and rebirth, transformation, regeneration. And when it is full, sometimes it reveals hidden aspects of ourselves, our personalities, and other things in the collective. Secrets and a part of me that I have not shown and done much with on my channel is that creative part. So I thought I would go ahead and, work with this full moon, expose this part of me by doing this mixed media kind of a collage with you, and work at letting go of those things that I need to let go of as part of this collage, which we'll talk about in a little bit further into this video. But first, what you're seeing on this monitor is yesterday is when this idea came to fruition for me, and I decided to make a full moon, but it is way too big for the piece of paper that I want to create the collage on, which is our regular 8.5 by 11. And this is really poster board, but it's a nicer quality than poster board, which I'm going to create on. Not this one, because I think this one's a little soil. I've been working, getting all our supplies ready here. So we're going to take this full moon, put it over here, and create a much smaller full moon that I think was going to be more appropriate for the size paper. So you have to decide, if you're creating along with me, what size moon that you want. Now this is 3-inch diameter, and I'm going to work right here on a regular paper plate. This is what this was created on. It's wonderful. You don't need to gesso. The acrylic paint moves beautifully. So we're going to do this very quickly. We're going to let that dry, and then we'll continue with creating the collage that I want to do for this full moon. Okay, so what I have here is some acrylic paints. Everybody has these around the house, I'm sure. I have some natural gray, I have some Mars black, and of course I have some titanium white. Now if you don't have any gray, you're going to be able to mix your gray by just taking your white and your black until you get the consistency that you want. So let's get started on getting this full moon made. I'm going to try to make it very, very quickly, show you how easy it is. I think I've never made one before, but I was able to do that one. I'm going to wet my brush, and I'm also going to maybe just lightly wet the surface of this so that the paint flows beautifully that way. Okay, so let's start out. We always go from light to dark. I'm gonna put some white. I got a little bit better. That one's a little watered down from a previous project. And take a little bit of gray. Feather it down here. And let's go ahead and, need a little more. Let's go ahead and get this baby going. We're going to make our moon. And not much thinking, we're having fun. Having fun. Okay, and just put it all over. Okay. And I'm going to lighten that up. I didn't want to do that. I want a little more white. There we go. Yeah, oh, how easy that is. Okay, now we're going to put some shading, what is considered the dark side of the moon, or where there is no reflection of it, of the light hitting it. And of course, that's going to be on the left-hand side. That's our past. And that's where we're going to put our emphasis during this full moon, on the past. Okay. I think I need a little more dark. I'm just gonna dab it here. Like I said, we're having fun. This is not artwork, this is play. Okay, now here comes the fun part. We're gonna wet our finger a little bit. And we're going to feather some of that in. There we go. A little more water, feather it in. Okay, and just dab it around, take a little bit. Now I'm really gonna bring it down here. There we go. I'm gonna bring some of that darkness into the moon here. I have some paper towels on my front of me as I kind of get some of that paint off. All right, now I want to continue with that darkness here. Make sure that it does hit the exterior. Okay. All right. I'm going to do a little more blending. And I think I'm going to be happy with that. Like I said, we're not going to fuss too much. We just want some shading. Okay. And maybe bring in a little lighter around. All right, now clean your finger, whatever tool you're using, that maybe you use the brush to create all this. And now we are going to do the craters. So again, we're starting from light to dark. I'm gonna put some fresh white. I'm gonna put some fresh gray with that on the edge. I didn't use enough. Okay. And I'm going to just lightly touch to make some craters. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of darkness. Didn't put enough. A little of the black, a little bit of the water. And just, I don't know if I put a third one there, but I feel like I want to put one there. Okay. Might need a little more black, so what I'm going to do now is wet my brush, and I think I might use my circular brush. This is more of a fine tip that I like to use. I wet it, take a little bit of the black and bring some white to it. Yeah, we don't want it too black. Okay. And now I'm gonna just kind of give it a bit more of dimension by going in there with the darker paint, following the crater that we started with our fingerprint. There we go. Now I think I'm going to be happy with that moon. I might, let's see, take a little bit of the gray. I've got some, I'm gonna swirl it around here. There we go. A little more darkness here. Okay. And that is that, folks. Let's clear this off. Put it aside to dry. Let me put it here. Okay, like I said earlier, I'm going to change this black poster paper and get another one, and then tell you what I have in mind. So go around the house. If you're listening to this video and you're going to play it over and you're going to see what supplies you need, I basically went and looked at the theme that I wanted to relate for this full moon. Letting go, and then with any ending there is a beginning, and the intensification of that creative process led me to want to really focus on what's happening presently, the energy that's happening presently for me with my sign and my chart. And I found in, believe it or not, a magazine, this beautiful quote by Melody Beattie. She's an author of the books about codependency, Codependency No More. And her quote is, "Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow." So I am putting closure to the past, and I will show you how we're going to be working with that again in a few minutes. And I'm bringing peace to today. I am honoring that surge of creativity and not worrying about being judged or criticized, whether I'm judging myself or others, and letting myself be open to vulnerabilities of making this collage with you here on YouTube. So this captured it for me. Then I wanted the idea of transformation, and for me that is butterflies. So I found this wrapping paper, believe it or not, wrapping paper, and I cut out one of the butterflies. I fussy cut it. I don't do that often, but I did, and I'm going to be using that in the collage. And for the endings, where did I put that piece of paper? Okay, for closure, for letting go. Not that long ago, there was a death in my family, and I am honoring the left-hand side of that loving memory and energy of that person. And that is dividing up my collage. That's the beautiful violet border. And I'm also going to bring in a heart, my love. We do have Venus also working in Taurus. So I thought about this heart. I'm going to center the moon or full moon here. Of course, I'm going to want that quote there. But before we do that, I thought about bringing in a little bit more of my heart intention from the past into the future, the way time moves, which is in ebbs and flows. And I thought I would also add dimension by putting a pretty pink, this is cotton crochet cord that I have been soaking in water, and I'll show you how we're going to work with that. Let's do that now. Let's go ahead and lay that down now. So before you apply it to any medium, paper or however you're going to be using this, you soak the cord. It just seems like it makes it very receptive that way. Then you put it in a mixture of half any kind of glue. I love using this Elmer's glue all for that. It's usually a consistency of half and half, but let me show you. I always think of like heavy cream. Okay, so that's about the consistency that you want. And you put the cord inside. If it was ribbon, you would do the same thing. Okay, now we need to apply that. So now that it's soaked inside, we are going to take it out, and I've taken it out, and of course with my hand I'm going to there it is. I just basically took some of the glue off, and I'm just going to go lightly onto my collage. Let's find a center there, and I'm just going to apply it, the ebb and flow of time. I'm just gonna make sure I like the way that's going, and you can move it, and believe it or not, it will stick to the paper. And I'm going to make sure that that's going to be where I want it. Yes, from there. Now, just to sometimes just to be very, very sure that it's going to stay, and well, basically I'm just going to clip it here. You can go back after and lightly take sometimes I take a toothpick and dab it in my solution and go on top of it and just reapply it. Now, it is a little time consuming, and it dries clear. That was a little bit more, but I make sure that my ends are solid. And this is something you can do, but it usually dries beautifully. The other thing that's going to help us is when we do a collage, I usually always like to seal it with a decoupage, and I like this matte medium by Deco Art, and that's going to go on this whole piece when it's complete and everything is dry. So that's also going to help seal it and dry it. Okay, so we got that. All right. Now let's go back to look to see how dry our, whoops, I apologize. I just kicked it. Let's go back to see how dry our moon is, and it is pretty dry. And I think what I forgot to tell you is once I did the circle, whatever size you want, again, this is 3 inches, I traced it on the back because you know, I'm not quite sure where that diameter is, my circumference of that circle is, and I found that it's a lot easier if you trace it on the back. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's cut it out. And I might have to do this off screen a little bit. And again, no perfection. We are having a creative, playful time. By the way, my Scorpio sun is in the 5th house, so I love to play. I love nature. I love to be outdoors. So I'm just about there. Still cutting away. All right, and you can see that where I traced it was inaccurate, so I'm going to just trim that around. Let's go ahead and do that. And I find moving the paper instead of your scissors seems to work well. Okay, so we have our moon. There it is. And let's go ahead and glue that down. Now you can use any kind of glue, Mod Podge, whatever you want. To make this go a little quicker, I am going to use a stick glue. I do like Scott's Create. It works for me, but if I would usually use more of a lasting glue. So let's go ahead and just glue this down for time's sake, because this is the main focus, is our moon. And you want to make sure you have your edges. Okay, and as I said earlier, the dark side is going to be the left. The left represents the past. And I am going to put our moon right there. Okay, and as I said earlier, this is going to be the boundary. Ooh, I'm a little off. Let's see if we can hurry up and take our moon off, if we got any wiggle room. And we do. We do. Okay, we needed to move that a little more. About right there. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing here is a little bit of light, and I'm just taking some of the black soot distress ink that I have on my little dauber here, just to get that little bit of white out. And I did go ahead and edge all of my cutouts except for this one. So again, the past I am representing and honoring here. And what I'm going to do is just clip that. Now this, believe it or not, came from an envelope. And I think I'm going to glue that right there. Okay. So let me get another paper plate here, and that's going to be where I glue. And sorry that I'm off the screen, and basically I am just taking my glue stick and applying glue to the back of my cutout. Okay. Making sure everything is back up screen here. We can move that. And I'm more concerned with the top than I am the bottom. And I have to do a little bit more here. I see this little bit of trimming. So let's go ahead and do that. Pull that up and trim that off. Okay. Now, I'm also, oh, what I forgot to do, again, going a little bit fast, is I wanted to incorporate there. Yes. Now, this was cut out from the flap of an envelope where a card was given to me, a very beautiful sentimental card, and I keep my cards and my envelopes, and that is going to be here. I'm going to put that here, and I did go around with the I'm not liking that too much. Let's do that a little better, my distress ink. And I am using black soot, and I want to go around that a little better. Some of it took, some of it didn't, and how fun it is with sticky fingers on the back. Now you might want to fold that a little bit so that you can get into the valley, there we go, of that. Excellent, we got that done. Okay, I think it's still sticky enough, but I'm going to add a little more glue at the tip. I'm going to apply that here. I want that centered as much as I can. And there we are. Okay, so now we have a good part done, and let's go ahead and put our quote. I think I'm going to put it there. Again, going back to having something to apply the glue on. here we go. About there. And leave a little bit of a border. Okay, now you heard me say that I was going to also work on releasing the past. And what I did is I wrote down on paper those things that I'm letting go of. Now let's move this so that it doesn't get wet here for a second. Let's get our glue over here. Now, in a tub of water, what you can do is you're going to tear that paper. Oh, you know what? Let's just wet it first. Yeah, I think it was a lot easier. We're just going to soak that. Just throw all of your written intentions, what you are going to be releasing, put it on a piece of white paper and put it in a, let's say, a bath of water. All right, I'm going to work with that in a few minutes. Okay, going back to our collage. Now, these are other things that I found that I were really relating to moving forward, being outdoors, in beauty, being playful. And I found this little bicycle, so I'm going to add that to my collage here. And I didn't fussy cut that. I just basically cut around that and then ink the edges. I think I want to do that. I'm going to put that on my cord, my continuation of life, and honoring my heart, my desires. This I cut out from a tissue box. And I wasn't sure where I wanted to put that yet. This is also from some stationery. And I definitely want to put that over here. Down here, possibly, or here. And if I, let's see, we're definitely going to be putting our transformation butterfly. I think I'm going to put that here and the transformation butterfly there. But I want it touching my quote because of its transforming ability. Yeah, I think I'm going to be happy with that. And I'm going to do that. I'm okay with that. I think I say that and then I get this And what is this? Another little imperfection that got glued down there. Look how easy that was to correct. Where do I want this? I just, upper left-hand corner. I know you're saying, come on, Carol, put it down, do something. Yeah, there it is. Okay, we're good. Let's go ahead and glue the back of that. I thought the color was keeping with the theme that I have, and I love the little black dots all around it. And of course, our butterfly of transformation, regeneration, coming out of the cocoon is so symbolic. And I'm going to glue that right there. And with a white pencil, if I have one, I thought I brought one out. I'm going to put the cap on my glue. We will go ahead and just draw in. There we go. Draw those in. They were not easy to cut. Okay. So let's go ahead and glue this down. This has been glued down. let's glue that there. And we have a little bee on one side. Here's my glue. Or is that a fly? I think it's a fly. I'm going to be playful with it. There we are. Okay, now going back to what I wanted to do to release from the past, which we were soaking here on our piece of paper, is we're going to take that piece of paper and basically tear it up. Okay, and you can watch me do that. I'm going to tear it up into little pieces. The past, I'm releasing the past. I'm letting it go. I am changing its form. Remember, I wrote those things that I am willing to let go of, desire to let go of, and releasing on that piece of paper. Then we're going to take the glue and the water consistency that we also soaked this cord on, and I'm going to add that to the pieces of paper, and we're going to mix it. Now, I think what's really helpful is to get like a sharp, well, this is the end of a long Q-tip, and basically punch and break up these little pieces of paper. And we're, again, changing forms, and bear with me, this takes a little bit of time. And that's why soaking the paper in the water is quite helpful. It breaks down the fibers in the paper, and it's starting to come. All right. So I hope everybody feels like creating maybe in their art journal something to do with the full moon, this powerful full moon, and releasing something, whatever that is. It could be one thing. I think I had about 3 things here that I wanted to release. Okay, so this is kind of broken down. I'm still feeling some, probably I should stop the camera, get this done. But there is one more step I want to share with you in the process of changing the form of the releasing for this full moon on a piece of paper. Now, I think also if you can write on a napkin, that works much faster and much easier. So if you're able to maybe write down what you are releasing, what you are giving up, letting go of on a napkin, I think that that might be a little bit quicker than this process. But this is what I've used before, and also in different forms when I made some artwork. Okay, now the next step is adding cornstarch, any cornstarch. So I'll do it with a little spoon. That's probably about about a tablespoon. And then I'm going to mix that in. really, really good until it forms almost the consistency of a ball. Now I'm using a very small container to do this because I find that it works well. The smaller the container, the better. Okay, and it's really changing forms now. We might have to add a little bit more of the cornstarch, but we're almost there. Almost there, and this is going to be the fun part. Okay, so I probably added a tablespoon and a half to that that piece of paper that I had, which was probably 4 by 2 inches. Okay, and now I am going to get my fingers covered with a little bit of the cornstarch and grab onto this ball. Try to form a ball. And it's still a little wet. So let's get some more cornstarch and add to it. Might have put a little bit too much of the glue so that the cornstarch, usually the amount of cornstarch is much less than that, so just bear with me here, please, as we end this craft project. Okay. So you want it, and here I spilled a little bit, you want it to be able to form a ball in your hands. And I'm not going to do that over my collage. So that the paper now has become, and I've got a little bit of water to make it palatable, because I did add a little too much cornstarch. All right, so what I'm doing is making, no, not a mess, making a kind of a glue. I want to show you a glue clay from paper. It's a little dry, so I'm adding a little bit more water. All right, now this was, remember, a piece of paper where we wrote our willingness to release. Okay, so now that it is a nice ball, and of course I am making a mess of my collage as I'm wanting you to see every part of this process. It's just needing a little more water. I overdid it with the cornstarch, but look at how we can repair that. Okay, so now with clean hands, let's clean our work surface a little bit and finalize our collage. What we do with this new form of release, and it's still dry, my goodness. Sorry about that, folks. There we go, there we go. There we go. You take a little bit of water, and let me use my other paintbrush that's going to, let's use this mixture of our glue and water. And we are going to put the glue as stars or even other planets. So let's go ahead and just take a little bit of that off, make a little circle, and apply it on our collage. And now we have changed forms we still have it. We still honor it as part of us, but we transformed it into something else. Now these can be stars, these could be planets, and they will affix themselves, believe me, to this because it's made out of some glue there. I'm just going to apply a little more than that the next time and make some. And you can use all of your little glue ball up, or you don't have to use it all. The other you can just toss away. It's up to you. And my fingers, please excuse my fingers, they are full of that little, I'm going to call it paper clay. And let's put one over here. A little more. And you can make these as bigger and as small as you would like. You can even make little dots. Let's see about making a little dot. I think I had tried to put one there. There's a little dot right there. Put a couple more of the smaller ones. Add to those. You can see how much fun you can have with this. And all I'm doing is making little circles with my fingers. Putting a little bit of glue on the paper and affixing it to it. Okay, I think I'll just do a couple more. Let's get one over here. Get everything kind of centered, evened out. Down here. I almost got all of it used up. Now you can go back and also paint them with maybe some iridescent colors or maybe some silver color to make them look like stars. That's totally up to you. Let's clean this off a little bit. All right, folks, and that is my mixed media, full moon and Scorpio collage with you today. I hope you enjoyed it. Oops, another little, don't go there. Hope you enjoyed this. I appreciate you joining me today and working through this. All right, folks, blessings. Bye for now.